another
What's up?
Wi-Fi podcast, but today we're gonna talk about fires. So how's it
Fire.
going out there? Any
Not so good,
Not so good.
right?
Yeah, we're
So,
we're looking at the maps and it looks like those fires are still not contained, at all.
no, I haven't looked at that update. So, um, and Genius is really far south.
Yeah,
So we're like close to like Huntington Beach, Newport Beach, that area.
yeah.
But I live in Redondo, which is LA County, and our the air quality is really, really bad. Like, just to kind of give you a point of view, like, or a reference, like the air quality index. I don't know the measurements. I just see it. So just to give you an idea, like where I'm at in Costa Mesa, it's like at 60, which is pretty good. Whereas in Redondo, where I live, it's 170. So
Wow.
it's like really, really, it's really poor. So right now I think, not, I don't think the girls are still like in school, but they're not allowed outside,
Mm.
and they don't want anybody outside, breathing that air. And it's funny and kind of weird. I was picking up my daughter, and there was somebody running outside, like jogging, exercising. I'm like, what are you doing?
That's like
Like,
counterproductive, I would say.
they were doing it at night, so I don't know if they thought, oh, at night it's probably better or something, but
Maybe from car emissions, not from fires.
yeah, exactly.
Um, but yeah, it looks like the fires are still pretty far north, but it looks like they're in close to Santa Monica, huh?
Oh yeah, for sure. Like, no, there's a couple images of the Santa Monica Pier with like fire like in the background.
Yeah.
So it's pretty close, and it's come down to like the beach area. In that area, you have a lot of mountains and you have a lot of dry grass and trees and things like that, and those mountains go down to the ocean.
Yeah.
And then there's a lot of people that have built houses there. So I'm seeing video. It's not first-hand experience, but it looks like those homes have burned down. So
Yeah.
yeah, it's definitely very serious. We keep getting like alerts on our phones to evacuate, but it's been incorrect. They're alerting another area, but they've hit like all of LA, so like we're getting these alerts. So that's kind of unnerving, but yeah, for sure. I know you probably don't want to talk about this, but Microcom is up that way.
Oh boy.
Yeah, he's in Calabasas, so that's like
That's
they're
tough.
right there in that zone. They're near the Kenneth fire.
Yeah, can you imagine a warehouse full of Wi-Fi equipment? Like,
Yeah, heck
you don't want
yeah.
that
I mean,
going up.
he's got a lot of equipment up there.
Yeah.
I should check in with them actually. I haven't talked to him in a while, but
But yeah, it's
anyway,
not looking good. Wishing everyone the best. But
yeah.
the traffic wasn't that bad. So it's like the unhoused people are staying like around Malibu, I guess.
Well, no, I guess I mean like we're saying that's far north, like mile
Yeah.
wise. It's not that far, but like it's still kind of far, right?
Hmm.
So anybody trying to get away from that is probably taking like the 10 freeway. They're not coming down towards my way yet.
Yeah.
So my commute from Redondo down to Costa Mesa is like it's unaffected right now.
Yeah.
But I'm sure there's areas of like the 605 and the 110 and the 10. There are more like outlets for like that area.
Yeah. There's no red on the traffic maps this time of day though. That's good at least.
Yeah, but even in my neighborhood, I was driving to work, and I saw two people. It looked like they were trying to evacuate, like they were throwing like suitcases in the back of their car. But I was like, oh,
They're getting
maybe
ready early. Well, yeah, we
they
wish everyone the
probably.
best.
Well, that
And
was like 5. That was 5 a.m.
yeah,
But I don't see why you would be doing that unless you misread the alert. We got an alert this morning around 3 a.m. to evacuate, but I think it was a mistake. That's what I've seen online
And,
anyway.
and people were like, and they were just like taking off. They're like, that's it, I'm out.
Yeah, like we got three of those alerts. Two of them were like alerts. One was to say, "Oh no, sorry, wrong area," so like disregard this that error.
Yeah, it's almost like they're saying people are thinking there's a new fire, right? Like that down
Yeah,
south.
yeah, you just don't know because like we've been having like high winds, and
Yeah,
that's the biggest problem. Like
yeah,
one of the biggest problems. We
yeah.
have
So
like
you,
wind gusts up to like 90 miles an hour, which is it's pretty. Like we were in our office, we had the winds down here. It's the Santa Ana winds. We had the winds down here, and it would shake the building. That's like how much like that's how
yeah,
much power. So imagine you have extreme fire, this there's story high fire, right, with all this wind, and it's just traveling so quickly. If you're anywhere close to that when there's a wind gust like that, you're done for. Like
yeah.
there's really no escape.
I saw it. It's like a
Uh,
blowtorch. Like,
yeah, it's crazy.
yeah. Well,
But
let's hope
anyway,
it doesn't come down anymore. Let's hope this
yeah,
thing gets
yeah.
contained.
Hopefully, I noticed some wind this morning, so hopefully there's not going to be a lot of wind today. I'm not
Yeah,
sure though. I haven't looked at the news.
yeah, for sure. Um, so if people are evacuating though, what they need is a Model Y. Just the Model Y because there's a new Model Y that just dropped in China, right? I'll put a picture of it up. Um, have you seen it yet?
I had a glance of it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't like it.
Yeah, I mean, I think they're like pulling from Hyundai or something. I mean, there's a little bit of Cybertruck in there. It's got the light bar in the front and the back. But it kind of looks like, I don't know, Korean like influences is somewhat on the front too.
Yeah.
I guess it really
Um,
is like it's a mix between the new Model 3 Highland and the Cybertruck. Um, as far as that goes,
I
but
mean, the color they're showing on there is kind of cool. It's like that
the
silverish
reflex silver,
color.
yeah.
Yeah.
The white one,
Um,
the I got the picture up of the white one. That does look pretty decent. And
I don't mind that light bar. I don't mind that light on the front. I think that's kind of cool looking.
it is kind of cool. It's got the really slim lights from the Cybertruck. It's got the spoiler from the Model 3 Performance now. So it's got that two piece front. Yeah, the blue doesn't
Yeah.
look bad either, right? That looks kind of tough.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not. I don't absolutely love it, but it's got a few new features. Like people are saying that it might have an auto open frunk, um, which is
Yeah.
nice. I would use it a lot more if it was auto open.
Yeah. Yeah, I would have to say I wish I did have something. I had that.
Yeah,
I don't use the frunk as much. Um, but
yeah,
some sort of like you have this on your car. If I had a sensor on the back car where I could like
yeah.
if I'm walking up to the back, it detects that I'm back there and it will open for me.
That does work really
Um,
well. The auto trunk open, I use it a lot, but I did turn it off at home. They allow you to turn it off when you're home.
oh, they
Because
did.
yeah,
Okay.
because you'll be walking around your driveway and it'll just start. It'll try to open up, but when you're at a store or something, it's great. It actually works really well. So they added a couple interesting. They add the auto open frunk, and there's some images of it with stocks, but that I think those are in markets where they require them. So I don't think it's gonna have like stocks or for turn signals or gear selection in the U.S. Um, it's like in certain markets where they require those stocks. I think that's the pictures they're showing.
Uh,
Um, but the interior is pretty much the same additions as the Model 3 Highland, right? It's got the LED strips, accent lighting,
yeah.
the screen in the back. So the Model Y finally gets a screen in the back. And
Oh
so
wait, they didn't have that before.
no, the current Model Y doesn't in the U.S. doesn't have a screen in the back. So it's like the last
I
one
thought
that
that did
doesn't
actually.
have it, right?
Oh.
Yeah, the Model 3 has the screen.
Yeah, you
Uh,
would think that that car would definitely have it.
yeah. Um, so the so yeah, the Model Y is the biggest selling car in the world. At least last year it was, right? Um, so and it doesn't, didn't have all those upgraded features. So I think now it's going to sell even more. Um, anyone that was on the fence, or I feel bad for people that just bought one, and it's probably not going to hit the U.S. for another 6 months at least.
Yeah.
So if you still need to get a car fairly soon, you probably still have to take the old one.
Yeah.
Um,
And
but
I would definitely wait.
yeah, oh yeah, I would definitely wait because you don't want to get in on the old one, right? Like,
Yeah.
you're buying this is a big purchase. You want to get the latest stuff. The range is a little bit more, not just like down the Model 3 Highland. It's a little more. It's not huge, but we'll see once it gets out there. It's probably got some pretty good aero improvements. And it's a little bit faster. I think it's like 4.2 seconds to 60 on the long range all wheel drive.
That's
So
fast.
it's really fast, compared to most cars, right?
Yeah.
It's not 2.9, but I'm sure there'll be a performance variant of it also. So
Yeah, I don't know, man. I would do the ID Buzz, I think.
ID Buzz, yeah. So did you? I sent you a video, a couple of reviews on that. It looked pretty good, right?
Yeah, I didn't the one that there's the one guy, I can't remember his name. He
Yeah.
goes in really great detail, and I didn't watch all of it yet. He's talking about the Hyundai EV9 or
Oh
Evo
yeah,
9.
yeah. So he was comparing it to the
So
EV9.
looking at for family vehicles, right?
Right, right. What did you think about that? Like the EV9, I'm not a fan. Like even I would not buy that thing.
I'm not a Hyundai fan at all.
No, I think it's a Kia EV9.
Oh,
But yeah,
that's
I
what it
mean,
is.
just it got a lot. It was like the first electric SUV other than the Model Y and the Rivian R1S, right? So it's kind of competing with the Rivian R1S for space, I think. It's a
Yeah.
three row SUV. But yeah, the interior in that EV9 did not look that great, and the price is high at it. They're both like 70,000 starting for that and the ID Buzz, right?
Yeah. And they mentioned that dealers are asking like 10K over.
For the Buzz, yeah. But I think
No.
that's gonna be very short lived. I mean, that video you're talking about, Kyle Connor, Out of Spec Reviews did that. He does a great job. So
Yeah.
so yeah, that's gonna be very short lived. That those, because there's some people that are gonna buy it for like nostalgia, right? Um,
Yeah.
and those people,
That's gonna wear off for sure.
it's gonna wear off quick. Now, like on the EV9, they're doing like lease deals because no one's like coming up and buying that thing, right? Like, so they have to get rid of them.
Yeah, where's he? He's located in like Colorado, right,
They're
or
in, yeah,
something.
Colorado has some more like state incentives, but I'm sure California does too.
Well, he was talking about a lease around $300 a month or
Yeah,
something like that.
right. So there's some crazy EV leases on vehicles that
Honda
make.
also has on their EV. They have a really crazy
Oh
lease going
yeah,
on right now.
it's pretty much the ones no one wants. Like the big one that is in everyone's talking about right now is the Volkswagen ID4, um, under $200 for a 10,000 mile a year lease, under two hundred
Oh
dollars.
wow,
Now there's a catch
I
though,
did not
like
know about that.
to because I was talking to somebody that needed a car, and they're like, oh yeah, I saw that, but you have to have like really good credit to qualify for one of these leases, right?
Oh,
And so it's like someone that doesn't really need a cheap car is the only one they want to qualify for this lease, right? And it's like the version no one wants. It's like the 2024 ID4 rear wheel drive, small battery, old infotainment system. So there's some catches there, but still for under $200 a month,
yeah,
that's
that's
a
really
great
cheap.
deal for the right person, I think.
Yeah, 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 for sure.
And there's even some deals on I don't know if you've seen it. I went to the Connecticut Car Show, the Fiat 500 EV. It's
No,
like
I have not seen that actually.
super tiny. Yeah, like I felt huge in this car. It was so small.
Yeah.
And I think it's kind of like the range is something like the e-Golf you had, maybe 150 miles.
Oh, Yeah,
But
I don't want to go back.
yeah, you don't want to go back after you got the power and the range, right?
Yeah.
In Colorado, they're leasing those for like $0 a month because they need to get rid of them. They need the tax credits, right? So,
Yeah, yeah.
but to qualify for that lease, you have to have like really good credit, right? Like so, you have
Yeah.
to have really good credit. Someone that like doesn't need a cheap car, right? They don't want. So basically, the person that qualifies for it has to want this not so good car that's not really good for anything. I don't know.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
It's kind of like a catch there, but if you're willing to do that, there are some like really good deals right now.
Right. Yeah, and then I know there's a friend of mine just leased the electric car from Vietnam.
Oh, the VinFast, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Did you see it?
Oh yeah, I've seen a couple of them.
Okay, so yeah, that's not that bad, right? What was he? Did he say how much that was in California?
It's like $200 to $300 range, somewhere around there.
Yeah, I
Something
mean,
pretty cheap.
it is cheap. That there's a couple of problems with leases though. Like as you know, like you lease that e-golf, right? Like you're
Yeah.
limited on the miles, and so either, but you also want to use the miles. You don't want to let it sit, right? If you're working from home and you have 10,000 miles on it, you don't want to not drive it, right?
Right.
You want to use those miles. You don't want to go over. And then when you're always paying on it, even if it's $0. But when it comes time for that lease to renew, you don't know if these deals are going to be around again. You may be stuck with like a $900 car payment to get something
Yeah, yeah, exactly.
equivalent, right?
Yeah.
So
Yeah, I mean, as you know, like we leased that e-golf, and we ended up, we didn't use the miles because it was during COVID, so like we weren't driving the car, and then we actually bought that car out and then sold it and made money off of it,
yeah,
but Volkswagen definitely did not want us to buy the car out.
right,
Like they made it
really
difficult. I
hard,
can't remember. They put a lot of steps in there. They delayed all kinds of stuff. So they made it difficult to do that. I don't think you'd want to do that now for sure.
No, I think you're lucky. That was like during COVID, and people wanted to get that car really bad, right? They wanted that
Yeah.
e-golf because gas was super expensive.
Right. Yep. And
And
you couldn't get an electric car at that point, right?
and something with the stickers, the California stickers, you could sell the car with them, right?
Yeah, you could transfer. I think you could transfer the sticker.
Yeah.
But the person that bought our car was in like Oregon or
Oh,
something.
okay.
So
Okay.
yeah.
Yeah, the e-golf wasn't not that bad a car. I was actually looking at, my friend Pete wants to get a car for his daughter. I'm like, oh, look at the e-golf, but the value they're still like over $10,000, and the version a 2016 only had a range of like 85 miles.
Yeah. The range did.
But yours was
And
newer, right? Yours had maybe 100 plus miles.
yeah, it was over 100 miles, but you started to feel like uneasy.
Yeah. Yeah.
I was charging it. Okay, I have a 33-mile commute
Yeah.
one way. I was charging it when I would get here from I would charge it when I got here and,
Yeah,
take it back.
that's no fun. That's no fun.
Whereas the Tesla, I could actually drive it here, drive it back, drive it here again. I could probably drive it back again.
Yeah, for sure. It's the right,
You know,
around 80 kilowatt hour battery in there is the right size for an EV. You don't want a bigger battery that like weighs so much more unless it's a truck or something, right? Like because especially with Tesla, because the superchargers, if you are going over 100, 200 miles, then you just stop for 10 minutes and like top off, right? It's not a big deal.
yeah, yeah.
But otherwise, it's enough range for anyone's commute, pretty much.
Yeah, and I mean, I'm on average doing 80 miles an hour.
Yeah, me too. We're not going slow. We're not like trying to conserve range, turning the heat,
Yeah.
have the heat blasting. Like I just did a video. I drove like, almost 100 miles in the cold last week on the Model 3, and what it used, like, I don't know, like less than 40% battery to go 88
Oh,
miles in like 25-degree weather. So, Really not that big a deal. I still had enough power.
Not a
I
big
still had
deal.
like I charged at 85%. I still had 40% left when I got home. I still could go out again if I needed to,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
So yeah, that's the Model 3 is a good size battery versus price, I think, for most people.
Right, right.
All right, Brian. Any Wi-Fi stuff? Any updates to the cloud today?
Yeah, so we had an update, I believe this week. We added the ability to change RSSI.
Okay.
So,
For roaming?
it's in auto by default, and
Yeah.
you can go in and you can modify the RSSI for better roaming,
Yeah.
right?
Right.
Um, that's basically it. But yeah, that's a big add. So we have RSSI in there now. This is under radio settings.
Okay.
So it's basically a group setting. But then once you have your APs in there and they're configured, you can go in and you can modify the individual APs as well.
Have you been getting any reports of like roaming with the new iPhone 16 Pro? Like it's sticky or it's dropping connections or anything?
No,
Okay.
I haven't. No,
I,
I don't
I
think
haven't
so.
noticed any problems either. I have one customer who's using Ruckus that keeps saying, "Oh, it keeps dropping," but I haven't noticed with mine at all. But
No, we. I mean, the new iPhone's been out long enough where we would definitely hear about it.
yeah, I feel the
Um,
same way. And I'm roaming fine on Ruckus and Ingenious with mine too. But I guess if you had a lot of access points and it was holding on to one that was too far away, that you could get disconnects, right? So that's kind of why you have that RSSI in there.
yeah, yeah, yeah. It's just another way to be able to tune your network and improve your network.
So,
Really.
so let's say that you're connect you have three access points and you're connected to the furthest one away because the iPhone thinks it has enough signal, right? Um,
Yeah.
you want it to connect to the closest one as soon as possible, and that's where you have to tune the RSSI. Now, I think that's the way to do it because you could like set minimum data rates, but that causes like disconnects.
Say that one more time.
So
Oh, the
the
data
other way
rates.
you
Yeah.
could set minimum data rates, like you could be no less than 11 meg or 24 meg, right? But that can cause disconnects and association failures because the AP won't take a device that can only associate at 1 meg, let's say, right?
Right. Yeah.
And you don't necessarily want that because then the customer's thinking something's wrong.
Yeah, I mean, when you make a change like that, I would let the customer know
Yeah,
this
for
is
sure.
you've added the sense that they have somewhat of an idea that you've done that.
Right.
But we'll use that for like troubleshooting. I mean, my network's set up that way.
Mm-hmm.
I want my devices to be on like a particular AP.
Yep.
So I'll set it up that way.
Mm-hmm.
But RSSI that's an even better way to do it.
All right, we'll check that out, and if anyone's having roaming issues, I'm gonna give that a shot this week and see see how that works, and stay safe out there, stay away from the fires, and we wish everyone the best. And
All
we'll be
right.
back next week, hopefully.